hey, there's this new movie that you should check out. It's called Victoria. It's directed by Sebastian Schipper, and yeah, this is a very, very, very interesting movie. Victoria is one of the only films to ever be made that is actually, you know, one continuous shot. You know, it's not made to look like it's one continuous shot like Birdman or, you know, whatever else has looked like to made it's one continuous shot. What else is like that? I forget. But no, this movie is legitimately filmed in one long shot. One long continuous 2 hours and 15-minute shot. Do you understand how insane that is? Do you understand the amount of effort it must have taken to, you know, make this movie in, like, the span of 2 hours? Just a constant... That's crazy. I'm sorry, what the sh... But no, there's this movie, and there's a couple others that I believe. I forget the names of them already, but I looked them up. There's a couple other movies that were actually filmed in one long continuous shot, but those movies were more like, you know, 80 minutes or 90 minutes. This movie is over 2 hours, and it's one long continuous shot, and it tells like a really, really good story at the same time. Like, how the shit do you do that? The movie follows a young girl named Victoria. She is Spanish, and she actually just moved to Berlin. The movie starts off where it's 4 a.m. in the morning, and she's out in the nightclub. Why she's out in the nightclub at 4 a.m., I have no idea why, but then the movie, you know, follows her and how she meets these group of guys, and yeah, these guys are kind of up to no good, and, you know, they definitely give her a night that she will not forget. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, the rest of the film just follows Victoria and these group of 4 guys who are, you know, they're definitely hiding something. There's definitely something that, you know, is kind of off about these guys. But yeah, it's basically just about them and how they're just walking on the streets, you know, just kind of being obnoxious, loud, and drunk, you know, how they usually would be. And then, you know, just something happens. I'm not going to spoil what it is, too. I'm just going to have you guys watch the movie for yourself. And I actually do recommend every single one of you watching this video right now to go and see this film, because it is a very, very, very good movie. First and foremost, the movie looked wonderful. It was very, very gorgeous looking. And the fact that the movie was filmed in one long continuous shot, I still cannot get that wrapped around my mind. That is crazy. I mean, just think about it. If one guy were to fuck up, just one guy, just the whole movie would have to been redone all over again, and that would have been a disaster. But they managed to pull it off well. You know, I didn't really notice anything out of the ordinary, like, you know, where they kind of messed up, but oh, they had to keep it in because, you know, they couldn't stop filming. There was nothing like that. Like, everything about this movie just seemed like it was real. Like, I felt like I was watching, you know, these real people, like, you know, out in the streets of Berlin, you know, like, doing whatever. Like, it just all felt so real to me. The acting as well was pretty good. I really liked the acting. I thought all the actors did a very fantastic job in this film, especially, you know, for having to, you know, remember everything they had to do in this film. Like, I thought that was insane. There is one little thing that I just did not seem right to me, however, and that is the fact that everybody in this film spoke English, and, you know, the main character is a Spanish girl, and they're in Berlin, and everybody, for some odd reason, knew how to speak English, and they spoke in English, and that just kind of seemed a little bit weird to me, because, like, why would you speak English? You know, you're a Spanish girl, and then these guys are from Berlin. Like, they could have either spoken in German or in Spanish, but no, they're all just kind of speaking English almost throughout the entire film. Of course, there's a lot of times where they are speaking German or Spanish, but yeah, just most of the time they're speaking English, and that part I didn't really understand, how just everybody just kind of all of a sudden knows English in this film, even though none of them are from the United States at all. Another little nitpick, I'm gonna go through nitpicks real quick, and then I'll spend the rest of the review talking about how amazing this film is, but just one other little nitpick is that, you know, this movie, I was really thinking about it, you know, and I wouldn't think, you know, this movie would have been, you know, as effective if it were, you know, not filmed in one long continuous shot. Meaning, if this story were to be told, you know, just like as any other ordinary film would have been, you know, it's just, I don't think it would have been as interesting as far as the story goes. And I'm not trying to say that the whole, you know, reason why this movie even exists is because, you know, they just wanted it to be one long continuous shot. Or that the movie relies on the one long continuous shot gimmick, you know, it doesn't rely on that, and that's kind of what I really like about it, is because it doesn't seem like a movie that, you know, was only made because, you know, just because it's in one long continuous shot, you know, that's just the best they got. That's the reason why you're watching this movie. Like, there's actually, like, a very, very interesting story in here, and, you know, it's just, my eyes were glued to the screen the entire time. I was really invested in the story. Some of the times I even forgot that the movie was one long continuous shot because I was so sucked into the story, you know? You're not watching this movie just thinking, like, the entire time, like, wow, this is filmed one long continuous shot. That is very obvious and noticeable. Like, it didn't distract me at all, to be honest. Like, I was actually really into the story in this film. But the one little nitpick I have with it is that I don't think the movie would have been as interesting if it weren't, you know, filmed in one long continuous shot. Like, I still think, you know, there was a very, very good movie and story here, but, you know, the fact that it is one long continuous shot just kind of makes it a whole lot more better in my opinion. Like, that just, it's insane, you know? It's a very, very good story, and at the same time, it's one long continuous shot, which are both very, very good things, and that's exactly what this movie is. The movie does an amazing job building the chemistry between all of these characters, you know, just building character development. I cared for these characters. You know, and you know, as much as these guys are not necessarily good guys, they're not, you know, the heroes of this film, I still kind of cared about them, you know, they're doing bad things. I'm not going to spoil to you what it is that they do, but it just, I cared for them. I don't know, the movie just kind of made me feel like I was there, and I was with these characters, and I was just watching them. My eyes were glued to the screen the entire time I was watching this movie. Like, there is not, I don't think... Okay, another little nitpick. There were a little couple, you know, dull moments I had in the movie where I was just kind of like, okay, pick it up. But I can't necessarily blame them for that because, you know, the movie was made to look like, you know, it was filmed in one long continuous shot. And of course there had to been moments where it's just, you know, they had to make it feel real. So, you know, they had to add, you know, kind of a little bit of dull moments here and there. But, you know, that's okay because overall I think, you know, as a whole, the movie's just really, really good and very, very, very entertaining in my opinion. The film is very, very thrilling, especially the third act of this film is just, the third act is just very, very intense. But yeah, guys, I love this movie. I thought it was one of the better films of 2015, and like I said, you know, the fact that this movie is one long continuous shot is not the only reason why I like this movie. You know, I actually also really like the characters and the story. And there are other things to like about this movie besides the fact that it is one long continuous shot. And I'm not saying you should watch this movie just because it's one long continuous shot. Like, I'm also recommending you watch this movie because of the characters and because of the story. You know, it has a good story and good characters. That's, you know, kind of why I love this film. So yeah, guys, overall, Victoria, I absolutely loved it. I thought it was great, and overall, I'm probably going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. I honestly kind of liked it that much. You know, thinking back, you know, when I first watched it, I just kind of wish I could go back, you know, and watch this movie as if it was my first time watching it, because I think that was a great experience. You know, it's just, I just wanted to know what was happening next, and just, you know, just the whole experience of watching this movie is pretty great. So yeah, I would highly, highly recommend each and every one of you to watch this film. It is also on Netflix. That's how I watched it. So if you have Netflix, then just stop this review and just go watch it right now, because it is well worth your time. And that is it. That is all I have to say for Victoria, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I am Jacob Palacio, and I will see you guys later.